Hey guys, Kelade here. Welcome to my Mythic N'zoth kill/commentator video. For this fight, we're going to be charging with most of our cooldowns. I am not going to use my Condensed Life Force, so just Recklessness and Siegebreaker. I'll try to cleave on as many of these ads as I can. And of course, if you can ever hit, especially hit a Dragon Roar on all the tentacles, you know, free damage, right? It doesn't really cost you anything. So as these tentacles die, generally you do want to kill these bashers ASAP, especially before this paranoia comes out. Right now, I'm linked to the Holy Pally, so I'm going to leap on him once I figure out where he is. And then we're just hitting the boss for a little bit. Mainly at this point, I'm just making sure, looking at my Alkaline Void and seeing if that's proccing or not. If it's not, I'll try to stack it. Unfortunately, it did proc because now it's at 0 stacks. So now that I saw that, I'm trying to get some more stacks again. And then, of course, I'm just moving along to this side. So I started off on the left side, and I'm going to kind of keep going on this left side for now. I am going to be in group 2. That's one of the benefits, I guess, of being able to play Fury versus Arms. I think the biggest benefit is that you don't have to go down with group 1 if you don't have to, right? If you need more melee to go in group 2. So right now, right, the group 1 people, they will take the gate, they will go downstairs, and then they'll do the phase with the Psychos ad. But since we're in group 2, we'll stay up here a little bit. Biggest reason is that in group 2, you're going to take a lot of actually just AoE damage. So every time you move in group 2, you just taking damage. So as a Fury Warrior, you can actually keep yourself alive, right? Especially with in-range regen and just kind of keep that healing up. So right here, it's going to be another set of Basher and Tentacles. So whenever the two groups are separated, there's only going to be one set of Bashers and Corruptors. Generally, you want to always kill the Basher first, so that way your tank can go and do other things. And then there's these corrupted neurons here. You can kill them, which will spawn a small pool, or you can just CC them. You guys see that this banished one right here that I'm walking over? If they're CC'd right before they start pulling out, they actually won't do even a small pull around them. You guys see that one on the left of us? That one was CC'd before it started growing, and it doesn't have a single slight pull. Whereas this one that we're walking towards, the dead one, even though you killed it, there's a small pull around it. So actually the best way to deal with those neurons is to just straight up CC them if you can. If you have enough CCs, go ahead. If you don't, yeah, feel free to kill them. Right here, we're just AoE. So the thing for this is you want to make sure the Psychophages, those Devouring Thoughts, those things, if they hit you, they're going to do damage and they're going to remove your sanity. So want to avoid them as best as you can. I am, you guys can see, holding onto a good amount of cooldowns. So I'm going to be focusing most of my damage on this fight on boss damage. Basically, anytime there's going to be boss damage, I want to make sure all my cooldowns are up. So right here, right, boss about to come up, right, group 1 kills their Psychos ad, right, pop my Condensed Life Force, and then we damage the boss as much as I can. Mainly focus is on single target. I mean, I think the most times that I will actually AoE is if I walk towards an ad and I just Dragon Roar them for, you know, because it's free. So for this, we're going to DPS the boss for a few seconds more. I think, what, 8 more seconds more here. And then we're going to go to the left side and we're going to kill some more of those Bashers and Tentacles. And then, of course, for this, we have one person necking. So as far as our talents are concerned, I am using Endless Rage, Double Time, Sudden Death, War Paint, Carnage, Dragon Roar, and Siegebreaker. Condensed Life Force as the major, Lethal Strikes, Purification Protocol, and Essence of the Focusing Iris as the minors. Of course, if you, I think in a later part, you know, once we're a few weeks into this, like, I think if you really wanted to and everybody has a boss damage, technically, I'm pretty sure Blood Enemy would give you more damage overall, but it might not give you as much boss damage. Because reason being, you don't use Condensed Life Force until 2 minutes into the fight, right? Because that's when the boss first spawns. So, you know, if you're using Condensed Life Force, you are going to have to hold it all the way until then. Or you just have less boss damage because you're not going to be using it on the first boss, right? So that's kind of the trade-offs for Condensed Life Force. Also, if you wait for 2 minutes for using Condensed Life Force, it lines up very well for the rest of the fight. And you guys will see, and I'll point out wherever I use them, right? So after we kill that set of Basher and Tentacles, right, this Mind Gate spawns. I didn't want to walk in right away because all that red shield was hitting. Just be careful, because if you walk into it, yeah, you'll still get hit by it, even if you're, you know, going up in there a little bit. Right here, I'm going to take the gateway. I'm going to rally. I'm going to enrage regen, charge to this exposed synapse that we're killing on this side. So this is the first one. And you guys will see, I'll just go ahead and just keep going to the rest of them. Not that one, that one. There we go. Rec charge it. Do as much damage as we can. I am also going to be the 3rd and I think 9th kick. Right, it's resetting 6, I'm kicking 3rd. So I stay on the boss a little bit just so I can kick it there. And then, of course, I'm killing the synapse here. And then I throw a little bit of a fear in those ads. Unfortunately, my heroic leap didn't go off right away because there's like a wall that you can kind of screws up your leap. So if the ads are too close, like the Psycho Phage are too close, and then if the synapse is dying, just go ahead and charge the next one so you can get started on it. Right here, Dragon Roar, Piercing Howl, whenever you can, just use one of those on all these Psycho Phages so that way you can slow them. So here I have to kick the boss again, so I'm staying on him and kick him, and then I'm gonna focus to the synapse and get that down. My main focus here, especially since we have 2 fire mages in this group, is to get the synapses down. So that's why I'm not focusing on the boss damage as much as I could be. But now that the 7th one is killed, I'm gonna hit this one a little bit. Generally I just hit the boss at this point. So right here AoE them both of them down and then just kill the boss at 8 stacks here. We technically don't need the 8 stack because we're gonna kill it fine at 7, but might as well get it down. Click on your bodies. The best way to target N'zoth is what you guys see there is you click on his nameplates on the right side, because for some reason when you're down in the phase with Psychus, the actual N'zoth body is like a different one. So if you select it while you're down there, you have to reselect it when you're upstairs. Whereas if you target the one on the right with the the boss frames on the right, it actually targets the one that's upstairs. So right here, this is going to be the start of the next phase, right? We're done with all the down phases with the Psychus ads. They will no longer appear in that form. Like there's going to be Thought Harvesters, but there won't be any more Psychuses. Right here, we're just DPSing as much as we can because there's a few seconds where, especially in this phase of the fight, from now on, it's going to be hard pressed for melee to stay on the boss as much as we can. The easiest way is to just get lucky, and I'll see if we can get to that in a second. But right here, everybody soaks the first Thought Harvesters, right? And then we have I think 2 or 3 people using the next at that time. Get some sanity back, and then we're gonna all spread out back here. It's kind of easy for me because my position for this first one is just next to that tank every time. And then I always use the ads to be able to charge to give me some ability. The reason I don't use a leap for this first one is because I need to use my leap for the next one. So you kind of want to plan out your movement for this fight, so that way you have everything lined up. So my spot here is generally like the second one from the left in this first row, and then that comes down, leap across. There's going to be a paranoia coming out, so just spread out a little bit and get to my dude, and with to go outside, right? So that little black thing, whichever direction that's shooting, that's where we'll get dragged. So we're lining up here, so that way when we get dragged, we don't get too close to the boss. The other thing is, you don't want to be too afraid of losing sanity right here, right? So right here, here's the evoke mechanic. I rally and regen and heal myself a little bit. This is just drop a pool. Yeah, don't worry about losing your sanity too much about walking over people, because a lot of times, especially when you get to this phase of the fight, sanity is less of an issue than actually just dying from not being close enough for paranoia. So that's generally actually the biggest thing, is that I think you start off progressing this fight being afraid to, I don't want to hit anybody. Yes, that's kind of the case in like the first 2 phases, but in the later phases, it's not as big of a deal. Especially because, after this, like by the time you guys see this, I think Blizzard's going to nerf the fight to where, 1, you're going to get more sanity, and these things are going to cost you less sanity. So the sanity will be even easier to have, next time you do this fight, for example. So right here, luckily I got linked paranoia to the tank, but unfortunately the tank is tanking the ads, so I still can't hit the boss. So this is the feels bad. You guys see how there's 2 groups of like 3 groups of melee in front of us. If I was one of those groups, then I can hit the boss, right? But unfortunately I wasn't, so gotta hit the ads a little bit. Better than nothing, because generally if I'm linked with the healer, they just stand in the back and they don't really move up. So at least it's better a tank than a range, I guess. So we get those guys down. We have a few seconds to DPS the boss a little bit during this phase. He's gonna summon this chamber that's gonna take us to the I guess the heart or the chamber, I guess a gate to the chamber, right? So there's a lock gate on the left side, focus target it, and basically when that event horizon is going to happen, right before it happens, we click on this gate and we go into the chamber phase. So the first thing that I need to do coming out of this is I need to walk forward and I need to click on this orb in the middle of the room. So this orb right here, click it. That's my job done for this part of the fight, right? Charge this ad. Now for this ad, I am going to have my condensed life force up, and I am going to use it on this, because if you use condensed life force on this ad, you'll have it for the very last part of the fight when you get that extra damage boost. I think on Mythic it's 25%. Percentage might be off, but it's somewhere close to that, right? So that thing comes out, and then we go ahead and we just start hitting the boss. I'm also not going. I'm saving my pot for the last phase of the fight too, and I am also using my coral on the boss still. Like when this last phase started, kind of like after the 2 down phases, I put the coral on the boss for N'zoth, and I've never used it again. And I'm not going to use it again until the very, very end of the fight, the last 20 seconds when you're doing extra damage. All right. Right here, we're damaging a guy, and this guy's actually getting pushed a little bit faster nowadays than before. Obviously, as you get more stuff, either corruption, neck, whatever it is, he's going to die much faster. Problem is, you actually don't want him to die that fast. That's why I didn't even leap out. I just slowly walked out because we're actually need to hold damage a little bit. So you can see I'm not hitting anything because he needs to get a few ticks of the dark matter off. So that way our mages ice blocks can come off cooldown because they need to immune one of the next mechanics, right? If you kill the guy too quickly, based on like where they might have blocked earlier in the fight, they might not have it up yet. The reason why it's important is one of the thought harvester little circle thingies. So everybody that's in the circle takes corruption, right? And so right here, this harvest thoughts. So this one, when we come back, everybody soaks it. But after this, it's always going to be some type of immunity soaking it. And if they don't have an immunity, they're going to go insane, right? And you obviously don't want your mages to go insane because they're all going to combust the boss at the very last part and just blast the boss, right? Generally, this is a very, very like far mage friendly fight. Unfortunately, I tried charging, but I couldn't get in front of the eyes. Could have just stayed behind, I guess, so I used my leap here. I really didn't want to use my leap because right here, I used my rec. Now, it's a very, very bad time to use rec because you can only get a couple of GCDs off. But realistically, that's the only time I can use rec because my next rec is going to be at the very end of the fight. And you're literally just going to see me running around a little bit. So I got paranoia. I'm linked to a healer. And we have to go outside because our little things is shooting towards the boss. So this is the fight as melee on this part. You literally stand here, especially as a warrior. I can heroic if I try to, but I'm actually out of range for it. But that's it. That's what we do as a warrior on this part of the fight. There's only going to be, I think, one more English that would soak. Yeah, this one. No, there's actually one more, I think. So here we drop this pool, right? We all come back here, drop it. I'm going to charge up to the boss. Hit the boss a little bit. Great. Oh, and then also when I rallied again was when the little like pull things pulled us. So right here, the pot harvesters, right? You gotta immune that. All the immunities go out, and then this is the last evoke. So once this is done, we can actually full blast on the boss. So hope that you get a good beam. Our beam was actually really great because the 2 beams wasn't gonna hit anybody. We actually had way more people dead than I thought at this point in the fight, but no worries. We're gonna keep decent boss. So the next thought harvest, this one, nobody is gonna soak it. Right? So, and we lost. And, my condensed life force is going down, right? Everything's going down. Reason you don't soak it is that it's going to explode and it's going to make everybody have the, the buff effect, right? Whereas if you don't kill a boss in 10 more seconds, you get mind controlled, right? Use my recklessness at this time. We're going to be doing massive, massive damage at this point. Luckily, I did actually get, so every single progression, all my infinite stars in that last part of the fight never hit the boss. They all hit the ads, but luckily on this pool where we did kill a boss, it actually hit him. But yeah, that's it for Mythic N'zoth. It took us, I think, 13 days after we killed Carapace to kill this boss. But overall, I think it's a fine fight. I actually think it would have been fine if they made the chamber a little bit harder and that was the last phase, but hey. And I got the helmet too, which is nice. I can finally replace my engineering helmet. So maybe next week I'll get the weapon too, and then we'll be pumping even harder. But as always, thank you for checking out the video, guys. Feel free to subscribe to see more. See ya.